And greetings and salutations, everybody. I'm gonna be a little bit quieter today, so I don't piss off my neighbor. the I just wanted to make hopefully a relatively short video here about the redo of the bending water experiment that we tried before, but unfortunately got defeated by the very same thing that we were out there to measure. In this case, that means the bending of water. So, I'm seeing a couple of questions in the chat and a couple of people in the chat. Hey, how y'all doing? Scientists, du solltest mal nächstes Mal dabei sein. And, what do you call it? Now, some people are asking, what is Bug? Well, Bug is actually Boog, and that's actually a small little town next to the town of Bamberg in Germany, where we performed this test last time. And unfortunately, it did not go very well because of a couple of things. And so I'm going to go over the lessons learned here real quick, and I'm also going to go over the changes for Bug 2. So let me see here. Hold on. And unfortunately, just recently I was informed, and I say unfortunately only for the test, but not for the people involved. Geo will most likely not be there this time because Geo was accepted for a very fine position at a university, which will take him unfortunately out of the area. So so streaming is going to be kind of interesting. Going to be kind of doing all this by myself, probably me and my son again, and we'll see how that gets to working. So let me go ahead and yeah, that one like that, boom, and transition. So this is about Bug 2. Now Bug 1, basically Bug 2 is going to be essentially the same thing that I was going to try to display in Bug 1. Basically, it's going to be looking down a line of tubes of water so that we can see the actual curvature that's being created by gravity by eliminating the horizon. It actually eliminates the need for horizon in this sense. Even though that most flat earthers, they blame the horizon as some kind of magical, mythical thing that makes parallel lines cross, it's kind of interesting what they start talking about and how many people have already started lying about it when you take the horizon out of it. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this, basically what I did was last time I connected a whole bunch of tubes. I connected 1,600 meters worth of tubes with T connectors and uprights to have one continuous cross section of water over a great distance. And but unfortunately, being out in a public location, the various pipes got ran over several times by people on bikes and people walking. And it's only 1 millimeter plastic, so those pipes, they were a little bit, they were somewhat easy to damage in that sense. And on top of that, there was also the cheap connectors that I was using, the T connectors that were connecting the ground pipes with the upright pipes. But one even more important thing that was going on there, is I originally had done this. This is basically the area where we were at. There's a man-made canal. It is a bypass of the Rhine River, I think, and and then there's a berm next to it, and then there's this area that I just kind of aptly named the trench, which is on the other side of the berm from the water, and that's where we did our test at. And now the problem is that the terrain there was a little bit more formidable as far as changing in elevations goes than was originally anticipated. It had a much greater effect on it. I was only using 2-meter high poles, And well, if I show this, this was actually the area that we were testing. We were testing from, we were standing right down here at this little intersection, and we were testing out to, I think it was about to here. Uh, but if you notice, the terrain goes up and down quite heavily. Um, and now, even though it looks kind of dramatic, this is only a difference of about 3 meters. But at one point, it gets too high, and and so therefore the water would not equal out. Water towards the further ends, it just wasn't even showing in the pipes, and it turned into a very, very frustrating ordeal. On top of that, there were, from what I counted when I was back at home and I was coiling the pipes all back up again. Excuse me. Um, the there were several abrasion, just basically abrasions on the pipes because we were running it along the sidewalk. Even though it was on the side of the sidewalk, people were, they would ride their bikes up and down the sides of this berm, and so it turned into a very well, it was just very hazardous for the pipes to get used, and so they had a bunch of abrasion holes in them. The thing kept on the water level kept on going down, and we couldn't find the leaks. We must have walked that thing about 5-6 times. And Surf Perzel's boyfriend at the time, he was actually down at the first pipe, and he just kept on filling water and kept on filling water, and he kept on saying it's not getting any higher. I don't know why. So well, I would love to reading the thing here. Start from the highest point. The problem is then I end up with what do you call it? Then I end up too high down on the low point, and higher than the equipment that I have. But there is a better solution for this, so we are going to. I'm going to just go over that here in a second. Um, like I said, the problem is that down in that trench where I was trying to just be away from everybody as much as I could, but still maintain that line. It was yeah, it turned out to be quite bad for the pipes. So but let me go ahead and bring up a whoops, not that. Um, Hold on. Now, this was some preliminary filming that I had done. This was also when I had noticed that the hold on a second. When I noticed that uh, the refractive properties of the air when the sun was shining was bad. Now, many of you saw my updates on my previous one. Oh, this is just a boat. What do you call it? This is the canal that's made there. It's just a bypass of a weavy area there, but this is down here in this trench is where we did the test last time. Well, this time we're gonna do it up on the berm. Now the problem that I have with doing this up, thanks Snart, appreciate it, man. Oh yeah, and by the way, I have had to get some replacement equipment and some new equipment for this. What do you call it? If and like I said, I'm not gonna make a Indiegogo. I'm not gonna make a GoFundMe or anything. I don't have a Patreon. Blah blah blah. However, I did just start a what do you call it? I have my own website now where I am going to be putting a summation of basically all of my work that I've been doing over the last 4 years on all this flat Earth stuff. And I have a website. It is www.slysparkane.com, one word. And if you want to help out, what do you call it? There is a PayPal thing on the bottom. It's completely and totally up to you and voluntary. I have no illusions of having to pay for an entire new test. I still have about 85% of the equipment that we used last time survived. Some parts did not. There were a couple of ground stakes that got broken and things of that nature. But and I've had to get some new stuff for the way that we're going to be doing the test this time. So it's a little bit different, but not much. So if you want to stop by there, or if you want to drop me a line, there's also a contact spot on there. You can get a hold of me. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to be looking at that thing every hour. I might only look at it once or twice a week, but nevertheless, that's where all my stuff is going to go, and have a little bit more organized view of all the work that I've done on the debunking of the uselessness of flat Earth. But anyway, um, this is the berm actually up on the top. Like I said, we were actually down here in the corner, and what do you call it? Now this is me zooming in. Now the refraction due to sunlight was terrible, obviously, on this day, and you'll see it here in a second. You can actually see it going way back there. It's just, it's a blurry mess. It's like looking through, I don't know, bathroom glass or something like that. And so that's what you can see after the distance. Now we all know, and as we all showed, or as we showed on the last, I think it was update 3 on. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can find the update 3 stuff, because it was actually I actually wanted to show what the oops. Okay, now this was down in the trench. This was on a bad day filming. Again, with way too much sunlight. There's me and my boy. And this is when me, my son, and Geo went out there. Now this was the bad day when it came down to refraction. Just distortions. Period through the air there. Because of it was kind of it was kind of warm out on that day. The sun was out, and it was just kind of rough. But let's see. This was the second time we went out. It was a little bit clearer. It was a little bit more. Even though you see the sun on here, it was a little bit more overcast. It wasn't as stark of a contrast. Now, if I can go over to where was it? Come on. Was it U3? Yeah, this is the one where I used Snark's music. And this is what it looks like on an overcast and relatively crummy day from the exact same point. Sharp as a tack all the way down there, but you can also see the raises and lowers in the land. Now, it was not originally seen that this was going to be that much of a problem, but it turns out it was when we went out there to go do this. So and actually this is me. You're actually going to see this little white box here. That's a little I think it's about 4-inch piece of paper. It's like an index card on top of my drone, all the way out at 1,600 meters. And so you can see it quite clearly. So as far as distance goes and visibility due to distance, it's by far not a problem. Now this was also when I had my little red marking light on there. You can kind of see it blinking. I don't know how good that comes out on the stream here, but you can see it quite well. And this was not even with the P1000. This was actually with my smaller camera, and you could see it quite clearly. So, and but like I said, this area has too much terrain, so we're going to be actually doing it up top, actually up on the berm. And now, because of laws about breaking the ground on the berm, I'm actually going to be using, instead of staking it into the ground, the uprights are actually going to be they're actually going to be weighted down, as opposed to they're just going to be. I'm going to use those weights that they put on the bottom of picnic table umbrellas. You fill them up with water. Well, that's basically what I'm going to be using to stand up the upright poles, and that'll also make it a lot quicker in the alignment process. Then I just have to say, kick it a little bit forward, kick it a little bit back until we get it in the alignment. There was also, I feel it necessary to point this out, just because I don't know if this is me being an ass or not, but there was a ton of flat earthers who said that it would be absolutely impossible to get all 16 stakes, or all 17 stakes, excuse me, over the distance of the 1,600 meters, get them all in a straight line. Well, let me scoot this up a little bit further here. Hold on, no, that's not it. And I can only thank my son enough for how much he helped on this. But this is all of them, minus one. I think there was one more that had to go from there. But this is all of them in a directly straight line. Okay, so don't tell me that you can't line something up in a straight line over a great distance by just visually. just by saying go to the left, go to the right, blah blah blah. Of course it works. Now that one, this one, he actually ended up having to pull back out and move it back over because it wasn't working. But that's part of the alignment process. I was sighting it with the P1000 with Big Willie, and so that was going just fine. Now, so the terrain was a lesson learned. What do you call it? The setup again. Like I said, I'm going to be using weights instead of sakes, and I'm going to be up on the berm instead of down in the trench. The berm should offer a much less variation in the elevations of the ground. Let's see. It wouldn't be using such weighted footers mean that it's actually no. Actually, it won't. Because what I'm going to have is I'm going to have a piece of bendable metal inside of the water weights. That basically, if you you'll be able to he'll be able to bend it so they become completely straight in a line with the rest of them, and then obviously left and right, that's just going to be moving the stuff around. So the next thing that we had was the leaks problem, and I had to figure out exactly what I was going to do about the leaks. I wasn't going to go out and buy heavier gauge tubing because that would be, I mean, this was like 700 euros worth of tubing anyway, and that was for the inexpensive stuff. So let's see. So what I'm going to do, well, the upright, what do you call it? Yeah, so you can link it to the upright. Yes, it's just going to be like a bendable bar at the bottom of each one. That'll make it so you can kind of lean it forward and back so that it stays straight. And now, the problem that I had on the previous one was this was the setup. Obviously, camera down here, 100 meters away. And for all the people who keep on asking, why did you have the camera 100 meters away from the test stretch? It's because of the fact that if I was any closer, it would basically negate the first one because the first one would be gigantic in the field of view of the camera. So back up the camera 100 meters so you can actually see the whole line. So that was the whole purpose of that. Now this is what I had last time, and there was T connectors down at the bottom of each one of these. And with these T connectors, many of them failed. I think I counted 3 of them that failed. We had to use this waterproof tape to put that on there. But there was also inline abrasion wears that actually made this stuff, that made it leak as well. So I got uneven results everywhere when I did the walk the line. And it just, none of the results made any sense to anybody. And I'm not talking about they made sense to Flat Earth either. I'm talking about they made sense to nobody because they just kept on falling as I was walking. And so there was just nothing I could really do about that. So the new version of the test, it would help if I put that on there, huh? Bug 2 is I'm not going to use the T connectors anymore down at the bottom of the pipes. What I'm going to do is I am going to have, instead of 17 posts connected together, I'm going to have 16 individual loops, or 16 individual basically U-forms, okay, which basically means a water level every 100 meters. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the first one, and then wherever that water level is, I'm going to cut the pipe. I'm going to cut the next pipe at that height. That way, if there are any bubbles in here, or if anything decides it wants to expand or anything like that, because bubbles do not stop it from auto-equalizing. But if something does happen to expand in there, it will never expand any higher. The level will never go any higher than the water that's or the cut of the tube. And the cut of the tube is going to be at the exact same height as the water on the previous one. So, and then that's going to be the method of doing that to each individual one. That way, if I have a leak here, I will be able to isolate where that problem is, and then either fix it or move on. But most likely I'll have to fix it because then that's going to screw up where the next one starts. So but that will leave me down to searching 100 meters worth of pipe, which is a matter of minutes, as opposed to running all the way up and down doing an intense search trying to find a leak, which could take over an hour running the whole line. We had that problem last time, and it was aggravating as hell. And so this is gonna be bug two. Bug two is gonna go like this. Now, this also basically promises to be a shorter setup time because I'm going to be setting up just as much as everything else, but I won't have to cut, connect, fill up, etc. each individual one. I'll just have to prop them up. I've already started 3D printing the holders that are going to hold them onto the upright pipes or to the upright bars. And so it's going to be individual levels all the way across, and I'll be able to display that. But with the saved time, there's a possibility that I could actually do what I'm kind of hoping to do is let me go back to the video here, the other video. No, not that one. This guy right here is what I'm hoping to do is while we're running along we're going to run along the right side of the berm here, and this is only maybe about a meter height difference between the berm and the water. It might be a little bit more, but not, it's not terrible. And what I'm going to do is at the water level, I still have to do a recon run out there to find out exactly how high this is off of the water. But I can run a laser level at each one of the points and facing towards the other side of the canal, and then have a small, I'm going to make a little foam boat basically with an upright post on it, with a measuring stick on it, and we can get that measurement as well using a laser level. And now the cool part about that will be is when we view the long stretch and we get the curvature that we're expecting to get, each individual pipe will still only have water a specific height above the water in the canal, which in itself basically just makes the two measurements corroborate with each other. There will be no way to fake that. There will be no way to change that. That's just how that's going to be. So if time permits and if weather permits, because let's not forget, I have to be out there on a crummy day. So if crummy goes to shit, got to be able to pack up and roll. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So that invites the ability to do that test. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. It depends on how much time is available. Now, another thing here is now originally on bug one, I had kind of alluded to I was going to do a laser level test between the last post and the first to last post, and just to see if people down here at the observation point could actually see the laser if they were standing up at the first post. However, I am not going to be doing that because that would be shooting it along the ways that people would actually be walking and standing. And it turns out there's some pretty stringent regulations against doing that. Firing a laser without a permit into a crowd basically is what it comes down to. So that's not going to happen. But shooting across the river, if I kind of shade it in on each side so that it doesn't get the widest amount of those laser levels, they have a wide laser on them. Just want to make sure that I'm not going to fire it off into anybody's eyes unintentionally. So the marker light. Now, one problem that we had with the marker light, and this was something that my son had revealed to me, is that the leveling of the marks that were put on each one of the posts. Now I think at this point I had actually moved the camera just a little bit to the side. Right there you could see the marker light down at 1600 meters, and or actually 1700 from the camera. I had moved the camera to the side now so I could see. The problem was that I had created quite a distance for him to reach out and try and block the marker light and then make the mark. So what we are going to improve on that is instead of just kind of slightly extending his hand out, we're going to use I have one of those longer construction workers spirit levels, and so that problem will be solved by making sure that when he goes to make the mark, that the part of his the part that he's using to cover the marker light to draw that line is actually level with the light itself. So that's kind of where we're going with that. So that is another change that is going to happen as far as just procedural change, how I'm going to get that done. Um, but all the same results are still going to be displayed. Basically we're going to have a bottom line, we're going to have a top line, and then we're going to have the line of the water levels all the way down uh, the stretch of all the sticks. And then at the end I'm going to lay those sticks down next to each other, line up obviously the top and the bottom lines, and then see what the middle line does. Now I also realize that in the current method that I have laid out for bug 2, I'm going to lose about 50 meters, so it will not be 1600 meters. It'll probably be about just a little over 1500 meters. That's going to cut a little bit off of the hoped for, the whole 8 inches per mile squared, blah blah blah. It's going to cut a little bit off of that, but it's not going to be very much. Basically, it would only be about the same as if I had just taken this last one off. But that's just what that's going to be. I'm not going to go out and buy it. Like I said, more rounds of pipe. I got a whole basement full of pipes right now, and so that's going to have to suffice. And yeah, so that's basically my presentation for this right now. So what do you call it? I'm basically hoping for a faster setup by using better terrain and better alignment method. What do you call it? Leak isolation is going to be at a premium because of the fact that I am not using one long stretch of water where everything is affected by the smallest leak. I'm going to have every 100-meter isolated. And like I said, hopefully, it depends on how much time is involved. I will be able to do the canal test, which is basically the laser level of the water levels. These water levels, looking with a laser level back towards the canal, and then measuring the height off of the water from there. That's what I'm hoping for. Don't know if it's going to happen. Really don't. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. So, any questions from those watching? Let's see here. Why not just use 3 uprights? Well, that was done once before, and what do you call it? For various reasons of, stupid ridicule. I want to see the arc. I don't want to just see a difference of 3 different heights. I want to see the arc. I want to see it actually, I want to see the whole arcing thing, because that is what needs to be shown. Now, I am aware that out there are people like glow busters and all that who seem to think perspective is a thing here. We all know how perspective works. We all know how angular size works, and no, it will not create this. Unless you can show me a way. And yes, I saw Jaredism's stream, and it was pretty hysterical that people are still claiming that parallel lines cross to make things disappear from the bottom up. I think that's hysterical. You can draw it out, and by the way, isn't it all the flat earthers that say that drawings don't prove anything? Yeah, none of it matches. So let's see, what else we got here? Yes, reducing the length under 1 mile will mean that the bulge will go a little bit smaller. But like I said, I'm probably only going to lose about 50 to 60 meters, so that loss is going to be minimal given the amount that's already going to be measured. Let's see. There's going to be a demand to see it from the side. Well, if time permits, I will show the posts from the side, because that is the most worthless view that you could do of this test. It literally is. I modeled that out before when somebody was talking about it. Basically, even at 4K, each one of the posts would only be, these are 2 meter posts. Each one of the posts would be about 1 pixel high, even at 4K. So that would be utterly useless. Let's see. Yes, hola. If they cross, they ain't parallel. Oh, hola. I didn't even see you there, Jose. By the way, if anybody enjoys a good spirited discussion about flat earth or any other conspiracy things, the format that Jose puts out is pretty cool. He starts it out with a video that he came across, and then he makes it so everybody can discuss it. Now, of course, the discussion tends to go in different directions, and flat earthers deny everything, whereas everybody else tries to show flat earthers what it is that they're doing wrong. But uh, absolutely love his format. You guys, if you've never been over to Jose J.G. Gonzalez's channel to watch his debates, you ought to watch that. It's actually worth the time. It's not like going to, I don't know, Oakley's channel just to listen to him say nuh-uh to everything and then just, I don't know, be a little bitch all the time. But what do you call it? So, and I've popped over there a couple of times when time permits, of course, and nah, it's a great time. So, let's see here. You should try to make a shot with the drone. Oh yeah, no. I have already said that if I am able to, I will make the side shot anyway, just to show how worthless that is. Because even the most rational flat earthers seem to think that that's a thing to look at it from the side when it's not. Let's see here. Sup Terry, sup scientist, sup blue marble. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, Jaren is a douchebag. Yes, I agree. But he was smart enough to prove the Earth to be round, and then flat earther enough to delete all evidence of it and act like it never happened. Gotta love that. Let's see here. Hey, Yarbrun, thanks, man. Appreciate it. And like I said, I have stood up a website. It is not populated at the moment, meaning that I don't have any of the content. That's all here on my computer right now. But which is basically the website is going to be basically just a canon of all the material that I've done, kind of broken down into categories and a little bit more readable and reviewable than a whole bunch of videos on YouTube. It will include my YouTube videos, of course, but if anybody wants to visit it, like I said, it's www.slysparkane.com. And like I said, if you feel like helping out on this thing, I'm not going to hate you if you don't. But as a matter of fact, slysparkane.com, like that. This is it right here. This is just the beginning of it. But like I said, I have these little under construction things. But the things that I'm going to be having in here, and they're going to be updated very soon here, as soon as I get these chapters complete. A little bit about me and what I bring to the table. The tools that I actually use to make various videos and animations and things like that. I mean, everybody knows I love PowerPoint, but it's not the only thing I use. The resources, in other words, all the online tools and all the stuff that I use just to assist in the analysis that I do. I'm gonna have links to all the ones, at least my favorite ones. Now there's plenty of them out there, but I've found a couple of them that work really well for me. And then of course, what have you done? Meaning that this is going to be a categorized and laid out, like I said, canon of all the work that I've done, and work that I've done with others as well, and which has been a lot of fun. And then, of course, there's a contact spot on here. You can, you can send me a message if there's something that you think that I need to know about, or want to tell me what a bad job I'm doing, or tell me about how badly I spell things sometimes, feel free to write me. I'll probably be checking this about once or twice a week. And like I said, if you want to help out, there's absolutely no obligation to do so. But a lot of this stuff does cost money, and I'm paying for it out of my own pocket. Uh, so, if you wanted to throw a couple bucks my way to help me out, to get some bigger stuff done, then yes, please, I would very much appreciate it. But nevertheless, this is the website. Like I said, it's slicesparkane.com, and feel free to stop by there. And I'm also going to have points on there where people can make comments and reviews and stuff, and we'll just see where all that goes. So, but let's see here. No, it's not the FE sewer. Let's see here. Yeah, and but also, like I said, that one post 16, post 15 laser test that I was going to do is not going to happen. I'm not even going to consider it because I need a permit to do it. And the only time that I was actually thinking about considering it was only if PW Phuket Word had actually taken down his live video about what he claimed was going to be the procedure of my test. And last time that I did it, before I did it, and but since he lacks the integrity to actually own up to that lie, um, there was no real reason to honor anything to him. So let's see here. Denmark is at least 5-6 hours from there. Yeah. Let's see here. Ja, Rechtschreibung ist auch nicht einfach. Und auch nicht in Deutsch. I'm American, man. I do my very best, but, I'm not the best at it. All right, well, let's see here. Yeah, the drive that I have, and I have relocated. That's why a lot of why I haven't been posting a whole lot of videos lately is because of the fact that I have relocated. I live in a different city now, so moving was very well. Life gets in the way, man, and so. As much as I would love to take priority by putting out videos instead of actually moving my furniture, that's just that's kind of not a thing. But yeah, it's about a 4-hour drive for me, one way to out to Boog, and I mean I would love to do it someplace closer. I actually, in the meantime, actually did contact the city of Bingen, and unfortunately, they were not going to allow me to do the test there anyway because of the fact that it would be seen as distracting to traffic along that road that goes along there, which I thought was a pretty weak excuse, but they said no, so that's what it is. There you go, Demon Orb. Yeah, this is the we can call it that. This is the YouTube test. I like that idea. Let's see here. All right, so like I said, I don't know who's going to be joining with me out there. It might just end up being me and my son. Who knows? But scientists said if time permits, he'll come by. Like I said, I don't think that Gio's going to be there because, like I said, with all congrats to Gio, he got a position that he was really wanting, and but it's going to take him out of the area. So let's see here. Talk to the airport. Oh yeah, just shut down Fraport. just shut down Frankfurt Airport. Why not? Well, I couldn't even get permission to shoot a laser across the Rhine River in Ingelheim because they said in order to do that for the safety of the drivers of the boats, they would actually have to shut down traffic on the boat. Or all boat traffic there, and anybody who knows anything about the Rhine knows that would be a traffic jam from hell and very expensive. So that was, I mean, not even GoFundMe expensive. I'm talking about expensive as in, no, it's not going to happen. So let's see here. So, yeah, I think that's about it. This will be coming up hopefully in the next month or two. I'll be going out there. I will be sure to make announcements beforehand to make sure that everybody knows when it's going to happen, so you can hopefully tune in if I'm able to get a live stream going out there. The next time that I go out there, I'm actually going to do another recon. Like I said, I need to get the height of the water from the berm. What that drop is, so I can construct whatever it is kind of boat thing that I'm going to have for doing that measuring there. But what I'm going to do is I have a mobile Wi-Fi hotspot, and if I can get it to work with that antenna that's literally directly across the water from where we were, which was what made it work so good for Geo last time, then I'm definitely going to do that, and then we'll see what I can get out of that. Yeah. All right, ladies and gents. Well, I really appreciate everybody stopping by, and I just wanted to make sure that everybody who everybody who was interested in getting this done, it is coming up, and I hope you guys can support me and help this thing happen. So, and if not, just get the word out so more flat earthers can lie about it. So, anyway, ladies and gents, I hope all y'all have a great evening.
Oh my God.